Good evening to you all. So my name is Jonan Kandwanaho and I'm the Managing Director at Jonaki Holdings Limited. And at Jonaki Holdings Limited, we offer credit. We give loans. So if you want a loan, you want to upgrade your business, you want to start something, you want to clear some consignments, we are just a text away, we're just a call away, an email away, and we shall be there to serve you. So that said, I'm glad to have you for this great discussion that always happens every Friday from 5:30 to 6. And we meet here to talk business. As I always shared, we get these topics from some of the colleagues or from what is happening in the business world, a few challenges that we address every day. So I come here to share with you my mind on some of the key things that stand out. So it's always a pleasure to have you. As iron sharpens iron, so we come here to sharpen each other in the area of business. So the area of our discussion all the time, all the day, every Friday is basically business. So that said, I would like to introduce today's topic, attitude and its implication on business. Attitude and its implication on business. Now, if you hear the word attitude, what comes to your mind? Attitude. What comes to your mind? You may define it your own way. So, given today's topic, and given the situation we are going through of the lockdown, I understand that most of the businesses are perhaps struggling. Others are almost closing. Others are in shambles. Others have been foreclosed on because of the loans they take and all. So it's not such a very good time. It's not such a good time for almost all the businesses. It's not. And so, the attitude that we have as owners of the businesses, as workers in the businesses, because if you're employed, then you're in business because you work in that business. If that business closes, I doubt if you'll get what to eat or if you'll get the salary that you've been getting. It means that the closure of that business has a direct implication on your being. It has a direct implication on your living. So meaning that your attitude matters. As you come to work, your attitude matters. Even if you're the owner of a business, the attitude matters. Because what attitude do you bring to your business? What do you come with? Do you come with the mind of, this business is just a week away from closure, or this business is just 2 days away from closure, or this business is just a month away from closure? What attitude? Because the spirit of the leader comes or brings on board has a huge implication on how the staff perform, on how the staff react, and on how the business even performs. Because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. You speak what is filled in your heart. Meaning that if you speak to your business that is going to close 1 month after or in a week's time because of what is happening, because of COVID-19, I guarantee you it's most likely going to close. And not to close because you've said that word, but to close because your actions are going to follow your words. And your words are guided by your attitude. So if you come to work, or if you come to work with a good attitude, that means the words that will come forth from you are meant to be good as well. And it has a huge implication on the progress of the business. And if you're the owner of the business, the attitude plays a big, big role. Because in a way, it even spills over To the extent that if you have suppliers, for those who are in business, the way you react to them tells on how you feel or how you're running your entity. Because what is in you, like in the balance of the heart, what your heart holds is what you exude. So I want to speak to us today to monitor our attitude as we do our businesses, as we do our work, as we go around our things that we handle. What is your attitude towards that business, towards your clients, towards your suppliers? You might think you're treating your clients very well, but you're treating your suppliers very badly, or your service providers. Now that has a ripple effect on the service that you give out. Because we tend to experience what we make others experience. If I'm in business and I treat someone badly, it somehow has a ripple effect. It has a kickback effect on how my business performs. Now, that might be hard to comprehend, but that is a fact. For example, as I told you, John K. Holdings will give out loans. So if I gave out someone a loan, and for Christ's sake, he has been performing very well in the previous time, and because of this season, the cash flow does not come out very well, and perhaps the payments do not come as frequent or as per the loan schedule. Now in that case, if I push forward foreclose on the property that someone committed, or that business committed, without knowing the time that I've worked with this person, without knowing the time that I've done business with this person, just because someone is not paying and I foreclose on the property, on the collateral security. So I'm bringing this whole frustration of the COVID-19, of the lockdown, and throwing it up on the client, which client has been very, very good for Christ's sake, and because of ABCD that is happening, he's not performing well. Now, I might succeed with foreclosing on that client, but somehow, somewhere, through word of mouth, I might lose millions and millions of money because of that one client who would have referred me to other clients. Because one of the best marketing procedures, especially for us who lend money, is through word of mouth. To the extent that even if someone has someone else who can offer him cheaper credit, but does not trust them very well, or has not interacted with them, it's quite unlikely that he will move away from you, who has been working with you, who has been transacting with you, to the person just because he has a lower rate. It is quite unlikely. And through word of mouth, that's how we've come to accumulate all the clients that we have. And it is the same way, through word of mouth, that you're going to experience the negative effect on your business if you do not behave. If you do not check the attitude that you come with in your business. If you do not check, especially as a lead of the business. Because that has an implication on how your staff will react. It has an implication on how your workers will handle the clients. It has a big, big implication, but it starts from the head most of the time. Attitude. Attitude. So through word of mouth, if you treat a client badly, he can either market you, he can actually market you badly. Meaning that through word of mouth, you're going to lose the number of clients that you might not even be able to interface to know statistically that I've lost 10 per week or per month, but in real sense, you've lost some clients. Just because you came with the wrong attitude, dictated by the situation that is at hand, and if you just pile that whole stress and that whole thing on your supplier or your client. So it is important that you as a business person, that you as an employee, monitor or be conscious on how we react. Because COVID-19 is not here to stay. There was the first wave, first lockdown, it got done. Now, second lockdown, and I guarantee you we are going to get over it. So meaning that if we react based on the situation at hand, it will be quite unfortunate, not only in our lives, but also in our businesses and families. Because if I have 10 staff, or if I have 50 staff, everything that I do that has a negative implication on the business directly impacts my staff. Because it walks me gradually towards my closure. So even my mood, even my attitude that I come with at work, if it directly affects my business, even if indirectly, it still has an implication on my staff, on my business. Because that, if it's negative, walks me towards the closure of that business. It is just a matter of time. I might thrive for 2-3 years, but eventually, it is limited time. It eventually leads to my closure. And the same thing happens the other way around. If I do something positive, if I do something good, if I do something nice for my business, for its growth, if I exude positive attitude towards my business, it has an implication on its growth. Meaning that if I was to thrive 2 years or 3 years because of the change in behavior or because of that realization that I have a huge implication on the progress of my business, it defines the long that I'm going to stay in business. And you do not know the lives you're supporting. You do not know the families that you're feeding. You do not know. You're only seeing your staff, but you don't know how many other people, the extended family that he or she is supporting. So that's why I talk to us that even amidst this situation, let's not look at the situation. Let's not just conceive what the eyes are telling us. Let's use our intuition. Let's use our guts. I was reading the book, The Art of the Deal by Donald Trump. Let's trust our gut. What is the spirit telling you? What is your gut telling you? Because we tend to decide, we tend to react based on what is before us, based on our physical eyes. But there's more. There's more to what is happening than what you see. There's a hidden success in your business that you might only realize after COVID has passed away. There's something nice that might come through that is only hidden, but you only have to press on. You only have to internalize. Not based on what is happening as of now, but what is to come. By the aspirations that you have for your business, by the vision that you have for your business, by the calling that you have for your business. So there's more to your business than just the situation that is happening that might actually affect your attitude. And that puts your business at stake if your attitude is not proper, if your attitude is not positive, if your attitude is not right. It puts your business at stake. And the business is not, the business that you have is not for you alone. That should be first motivator. That there are lives hanging in balance if your business closed today. That there are families that are going to sleep hungry if your business closed today. And the same attitude we should manifest or show to our service providers, to our suppliers. Because what you're going through is more likely the same thing that they're going through. So how do you behave? How do you react to them? If they have delayed with the supply, not that they should compromise the quality or their service, But look beyond the actual service that has happened. Internalize, especially if the same thing that has happened has not been happening. So let's exude that positive attitude, that positive. And it should not be dictated by the situation we are in. Because for all cards, for all sorts of bets, as of now, you can have all the words to defend your stand with a negative attitude. But that will solely depend on what you're seeing in the physical. But there is more happening in the intuition. If you go deep, there's more that you can benefit. There's more that you can grow in your business than what is happening. So it's that should motivate you. It's that should encourage you. It is that should push you to still keep your staff on those allowances, even if you have the authority to cut them off. Unless the business is too down. Because even when your business is going through the downs because of the COVID-19, think of the staff who are depending on your business for survival. They might be arguing that, because my staff are not working, and, I've been giving them lunch and transport allowance, now is the time to cut it off. It might not be the time. Don't listen to the situation at hand. Don't listen to what is happening at hand. Don't decide by what you're looking as of now. Look beyond that. Internalize in your conscience. Sometimes the physical and the eyes are deceptive. There's more in the spirit that might be birthed from a business just because you treated your staff well. Just because you kept them on the allowance. Even if they're not working, give them that transport if you can afford. Give them that lunch allowance if you can afford. Because the same situation that your business is going through is what they are going through. Is what their families are going through. And this is humanity. This is life. Some lives are at stake. People have been counting down. You've seen the Nabanja money. People are counting days. We registered yesterday. So it's now 3 days past. The money is not getting on the phones. Now 200,000 might not be a big deal. You could afford even to blow it on data or blow it on some snack. And it might not even be enough. But there's someone out there, could even be amongst your staff as a business person, who could depend on that 10,000 to feed the children that very night. And you can imagine the attitude that staff will bring after COVID. If he knows that even amidst COVID, even amidst challenges, you stood with them. You did not cut off their transport allowance. You did not cut off their lunch allowance just because they were not working. Ladies and gentlemen, let's look beyond what is happening. Let's look beyond that. You can imagine if you put yourself in that person's shoes. If you put yourself in those staff's shoes, you can imagine the attitude that person will have if you supported them through this COVID. We had a testimony on our King Church WhatsApp group of some of the institutions that increased the salaries, that promoted one of the staff was giving a testimony. You can imagine. Whereas other businesses are thinking of closure, others are thinking of how they are going to maneuver, others with that negative vibe, even when the business is not almost collapsing, because of that anxiety, it prepares its closure. It increases the rate towards its closure. But here it was promoting the staff. Wow. Wow. In such a time. Now you can imagine the motivation that the staff will come up with. You can imagine the motivation that that person will come up with after this COVID, after this lockdown. The productivity will be very high. You'll get shocked with the outputs with the things that you realize, with the profits you might actually get, just because you extended that hand, just because you did not listen to the physical, to what is happening, to the eyes, but rather to the spirit, to the inside bit. And did not act because someone is acting. Because for all sorts of cuts, you'd think that every company should be now downsizing. More so, it should perhaps even be laying off some of the staff. Or more or less, it should actually not be thinking about promoting or even recruiting. But are you going to move by the right of what others are experiencing, of what others are saying? Are you going to move by that right? Are you going to move by that tide? Now, my urge to you and my sharing today is to request you as a business person to rethink. Do not react by the tide. Do not react by the wave that is happening. Do not react. There is more to your business than what is really happening now. There is more to business. This greater joy that you might experience after this lockdown. There's greater growth that you might experience after this lockdown. So don't change yet. Don't fire your staff yet. Don't reduce their salaries yet. Don't cut off their allowances yet. Because there's something nice that might come up. There's something good that might come up. Have a positive vibe. Have a positive attitude. Think positive of your business. Because it has a huge, huge implication on the success of your business. It has a big, big implication on the success of your business. That one I guarantee you. So now if you've been wallowing in pity, self-pity, if you've been wallowing in worry, if you've been wallowing in anxiety, this is the hope that I'm speaking to you. This is the hope that I bring on your table. This is the hope that I bring to your business. Have a positive attitude. Even if you're staff and you feel at work there is that, that moist environment, that moist attitude, that moist atmosphere, backed by the situation at hand, backed by what is happening with COVID-19, with the lockdown, with the frustrations. You're an ambassador in that company as staff. You have a right, you have the capability, you have the capacity to affect the attitude, to affect the atmosphere. That whereas others are complaining, that whereas others are crying, that whereas others are wallowing in pity, and you could be the only light, you could be the only hope that someone can lean on. That even the MD, that even the director can lean on to rethink his decision to close the business or not. Because we tend to think that people above there are not affected. No. Being an MD, being an executive director, does not mean that he's not going through the stress that you're going through as a staff. So it could be a source of contact for an encouragement to that MD. You could even, by word of mouth, by your attitude, you could determine whether the business should proceed and not close in this COVID situation. So don't let yourself down yet. Don't let down your company yet. Be the spark if you're staff. Be the spark to change the atmosphere, to change the attitude of the environment, to change the attitude of the company, to change the vibe, as you may call it. Be that one person. And if you're the director, you have no excuse. If you're the MD and you're listening in, you're watching through, you have no excuse. You're the source of an encouragement. You're the source of of courage to your staff. This is not the time to cry. This is not the time to develop anxiety, to be anxious, to be anxious of what is happening. It's not the time. It is not the time. You have to press on. Your staff are leaning on your courage as a leader. Your staff are leaning on your efforts. Your staff are leaning on your energies. Now is the time to revive up your energy, to change your attitude for the better, to change your attitude for the better of that business, for the better of that company, for it to progress. So if you've been riding on the tide of what others are saying, if you've been riding on the tide or on the wave of how others are reacting, now is the time. Now is the time not to depend on what others are doing, on how others are reacting. Now is the time to react based on your intuition. Now is the time to react based on your spirit. What is your spirit telling you? Because you're not having that business for yourself alone. You're having that business for your staff. You're having that business for your society. You're having that business for your community. You're having that business for your staff. It's not about you alone. It's not about you alone. That's why you have no excuse but to rethink your attitude. That's why you have no excuse but to rethink your approach and how you're moving on day by day, day by day. And you know that is not manifested until you monitor the words that come through you. Proverbs 18:21, it says, our tongue can speak life and it can as well speak death. So some of the people in such a time can speak death to your businesses. You can speak death to your businesses, which is unfortunate. Yet you have the option of speaking life. Now is not the time to complain how your business is closing tomorrow, to complain how the hard times are biting hardly, to complain of how things are turning upside down. Because even complaining does not change the situation. And not complaining does, to the better. It does to the better of your business. It does to the better of your spirit. It does to the better of your attitude. So how about you choose to speak life to your business? How about you choose to speak life to your company? And not moving by the word, that is not moving by the tide from other companies, from other businesses, how things are turning upside down, how things are hard. Now is the time to speak life. And you cannot speak life if your attitude is in the negative mode. You cannot speak life if your attitude is in the backward mode. It has to be progressive. It has to be positive. So it's a word of encouragement to you that the power lies in the tongue. Speak positive words to your staff. Speak positive words to your business. Even when you're going through challenges. Granted, yes, we are all going through this kind of situation as business people. We are all going through these constraints. We are all facing these challenges at hand. But we have a choice. To speak positive, to speak life, or to speak death. How I wish you speak life. I therefore beseech you, if you're watching now and your staff, speak life to your business. Speak life to that company that is employing you. Speak life. Speak life. Now is not the time to mourn. Now is not the time to wallow in pity. Now is not the time to complain. Now is not the time to react negatively. Now is not the time. It's not. Because the atmosphere is already down. With the lockdown, it's already down. With the losses, it's already down. So you cannot add on more trouble to the trouble that is already happening. So choose to speak life. Choose to be positive. Choose to have a positive attitude. And then, after COVID, you'll be happy that the business survived all through, that the business thrived, that the business stood, and you'll get to enjoy. And I look forward to meeting you up there. I look forward to meeting you up there. So that's what I felt I could speak to us today. And I hope it changes you. I hope it changes how you've been thinking about your business. I hope it counters that decision they're going to make to close that business. I hope it helps you to lay off some of those stuff you're going to lay off. And I hope, above all, that it will encourage you to sail through this COVID-19 lockdown and situation. And at the end of the day, you'll be happy and you'll have great joy. I thank you for your time, guys. And as I've already said, that if you pick one item, pick one word and implement it, I'll be the happiest. Because then you'll have valued your time coming here or watching, and you'll also have valued my time and my data and my energies to come here and share with you. And I'll be very, very happy. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Pius. And all you guys watching online. Thank you, and have a great Friday. Have a blessed evening and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Bye-bye, and see you next Friday. Next Friday, we have a very practical topic, and I can't wait. I look forward. Thank you, and bye for now. Blessings.